So tell me in your mind, the evolution of the music scene, especially on the hip hop and the soul and the R&B side. What have you seen happen in this scene? What's exciting you? What is some things that you would call to the community to say, listen, we love you, but this is an area we could grow in. So something that excites you, something you've seen, and something that maybe you would say, is there a way that we could kind of come together on this? What are some of those things?
Golly, I definitely, that's a tall order.
That's a lot.
And you've got 47
in the city
seconds.
Of music, yeah. I definitely feel like you were saying, I think the audiences in Austin is one of the most exciting things to me because people here love music. Mm-hmm. They want to be out. Like any given night there's only been like a handful of times that I've been like, why is there no one out? Like there's always people out. Yeah. There's only been like a couple of spooky nights. And I was like, there's no one out. You know what I mean? I think that excites me a lot because I agree with you. Like there's just an opportunity there when you feel like people want what you have and you have motivation when you get to experience that. So I think it's a great space to feel that kind of motivation. I think areas where there can be growth or I've seen growth is that hip hop hasn't been always received the same way. You know what I mean? But, what I love about Texas coming from the Northeast, I was saying this the other day in an interview, was that there's such self-determination here for musicians, especially the hip hop community in Texas. Is like they're so self-determined and insular, like they can take care of themselves. They can work out work their communities, develop their whole scaffolding of their own music on their own, on their block, in their city. So that kind of self-determination is really exciting for us because we have like a self-determination background just coming from an activist background. You know what I mean? Right. Just like, we're going to get up, we got to get it done. That's what we're about. So that's been something that has really like charged me being here. It's tough, but it's been like really exquisite to experience. Like I wanted to do this and I'm doing it. I wanted to make a living and we're making it. I wanted to influence these people and we're doing that. You know what I mean? Right. And you can do it with relative support. You know what I mean? Like there are services here for musicians that just don't exist anywhere else in the country. That matters. You know what I mean? It matters for your sense of your freaking peace at night to know that you can go to a Sims or you can go to a Ham and get your teeth checked or you can go to the emergency room. I've had to visit the emergency room and I was like, okay, that's just going to be $100. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and what she's mentioning for those who don't know is there's a and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is, because I'm not in this vein, but as a musician, they have a way that you basically have a supplemental health insurance or health insurance that you can get through a local organization specifically for musicians.
Right. So HAM is that I wouldn't call it health insurance per se, but it's definitely help.
Yeah.
Okay.
It supplements your health,
sure.
your health crises. And then there's also Sims, who does it for not just musicians, but people in the industry. So even people who work in bars, etc. Oh, wow. And shout out to Sims because they definitely need the financial support right now. So if you can go and support them, please do that. But they're a mental health organization, and they also do drug support, anyone who's going through drug crisis, etc. They do all of those
and I mean, I think that's kind of silly because who would think that artists and performers would
are going through substance abuse
or substance abuse issues?
Never. I've never heard of anything like that.
It takes a completely sane person to believe in yourself above anything.
Yeah.
No, totally, man. I mean, going back to your question, I think you were talking about hip hop. I think, and just Austin in general, I think Austin has like a little bit of mentality of like, am I good enough? You know what I mean? And I think there are people here, and I think I include ourselves in that are just like, yeah, we're good enough. And I think that's the hip hop mentality because, there's a time where people were saying that hip hop, just as a genre, was going to fade away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember that.
And now people are doing college theses on how it's like changed.
There's a professor that literally has his own thing, or he teaches like hip hop, and it's his own thing. His thesis was a rap album.
Right.
His name is AD the Great on Instagram. Check him out.
We'll have that in the comments.
Super dope. But I mean, I think Austin is coming out of that, and I think people like us are leaders in that, where we're saying like, look, like we're going to create institutions. We're going to create things that not only help ourselves but help other people create platforms. Like we had Chris Hills as a semifinalist in Austin's Funniest Person contest hosting our event.
Right.
He's a young guy coming up. We created space for him to highlight him. You know, and other artists that are black and brown artists in hip hop and R&B that are dope and need these type of platforms.
Right.
And so, like, I think we just came in with that hip hop mentality. It's like, oh, you're gonna feel us.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot of hip hop, a lot of rappers out there that when I hear them, it's like, and the crowd's not responding. They're like, oh, yeah, what's going on, man? Like, why aren't y'all screaming? It's like, no, that's your job.
Right.
You're an MC. That's your job to get me hype. If you're not getting me hype, then you're not doing your job. And I feel like as far as the hip hop scene, I feel like more and more people are stepping into that and like owning that and like, yo, I'm dope and I don't care where you're from. Like, I'm gonna bust this down and like, I'm gonna show you why I'm dope. And that's what we've done from day one here. And I think people are catching on in different ways. People have been down with us from day one. And like you said, yourself, like you just found out about us. You're like, yo, like, what's up? So people have to have that type of mentality, but they also have to have the commitment to see it through.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot of talent. There's people that can rap really well, but they don't have that commitment. They don't have that feeling like, yo, like this might take me a year, 2 years, 3 years,
10
5
years,
years,
10, yeah.
6 years. I mean, for us,
How
like,
long have you two been at it?
we wrote our first rhymes together in 2004. Okay, and those, like, our first show was that opened up for this group called Dead Prez. They had an album called Let's Get Free. It was released in 1999. It was a hugely influential conscious hip hop record, and that was like our first show. So like we're talking about 2004. I was like, yo, you want to write some raps? And she was like, yeah. And then we opened up for Dead Prez, and like from there, like we just kept. But in 2004 to like maybe 2010, 11. It wasn't like something that we were like,
right.
Well, we moved down here like we're gonna be artists, but let's just say from 2004 to 2010, it wasn't like this is what we're gonna do. I was teaching. I was a full-time high school teacher. I ran a nonprofit arts organization, doing all types of stuff in the community. We had a comedy group. We had New England's only all-black sketch comedy group. We traveled all around New England, universities, churches, schools, doing comedy. You know what I'm saying? So music was like just an aspect of our life. Right. And when we came down here, we made it the focus of our life. Yeah. And so, you know, things started to change. And like she said, like we make a living doing this. Like we work for ourselves. Yeah. I got
great.
the clothing line.
Yeah.
We've got a monthly party that we do called Body Rock, which has been going. We're gonna celebrate 10 years.
I'm gonna tell everybody, like Sahara Lounge is my favorite place
Yeah.
in Austin to
that
dance.
place.
And here's what I
Love
tell
it.
people about Sahara Lounge. Even people who don't have rhythm can dance at Sahara Lounge because they got that wooden dance floor, and everybody gets on that dance floor,
right.
and
And
the
it does
dance
something.
floor
That's
starts
right.
going.
Yeah.
And all of us, I don't care who you are, if
It's
you
just
love the
work.
music,
Yeah.
you got rhythm all
You're
of a sudden.
And I'll tell you what, I've been there
To the beat, you
multiple
are.
times, and I've never seen a performer look happier than when they're performing in that place.
Yeah.
Like they are just so
And I
happy
mean-
to be
Yeah,
there.
there's a lot of old souls in there. Like it was
yeah.
a juke joint, man. That's just where you
for
want
sure.
to cut up.
Yeah.
It's-
You like
it's
walk
all
in
the
and it's
walls.
like $5 for the Kool-Aid thing that they made.
Deep East, come out there and check us out, man.
Yeah,
First
it's
Friday
great.
every month, Body Rock ATX. Shout out to DJ Chorizo Funk, who we met. We got here at the end of December in 2009. We literally met him in January 2010, and we started that party in February 2010.
Nice.
So it'll be 10 years in February. So shout out to all our Body Rock family out there. People have been coming out and supporting us from that moment till now. You know, we're 500 or 600 people every month out there.
There we go. And then you guys also have, I mean, here's the thing. You have your things in Austin, but you guys have had what people would call commercial success opportunities, you know. And so share some of those so that people, because here's what I think. Austin doesn't understand how much fucking awesome shit
my
and
God.
people and artists that we really, and that's what this show is all about.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
This
know.
show is just like, do you even
Yeah.
fucking know what we have?
Not
here?
a fucking clue.
A lot of
Thanks
people
for
don't.
doing it at a professional level. Thanks for bringing it and making it, like, giving
As
it,
he
giving
goes,
it.
do you motherfuckers know? Okay, let me rephrase that so you can edit it in after. Folks, do you realize just how wonderful we have it here in Austin, Texas?
But you know, there's other cities. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the thing. It's like there's other cities like Austin, and the thing is that there's not a lot of people like you. If you go to New York, there's probably 15, 20, 30 podcasts like you,
Right.
people taking the scene
Shows.
serious.
We call ourselves the show.
We're a show. We're not.
We're
a
more than a
podcast.
podcast.
Oh, the show. Sorry, the shows like yours. You feel me?
Right,
So
right.
it's like, you know, you go to LA, it's like that, you know.
Yeah,
but
for
here in
sure.
Austin, it's like people aren't willing to step out on
Right.
that limb and say, "Yo, this is dope."
Right.
So you know what I mean. I think Austin has that issue, and there's no major press here. There's no like national. So that affects everything. But you guys taking it seriously and committed to that, I think will change it.
Yeah.
I think you guys have the power to do that.
We very much would love
We
to be a
appreciate
part
that.
of shining a mirror
Yeah.
on the greatness of Austin, Texas,
I
and
do-
that's what we're all
yeah.
about.
I do want to say one thing. I saw you guys. I've just mentioned this before we went on air. About year and a half, 2.5 years ago now, and I was going through something at that point, and we were working at the place that will not be named at the time. I was
Shade?
Yeah,
No,
I
we
was-
just
we
it's
just-
Well, it's good. It's good.
We're good.
that's right,
We're
that's
good. We're
It's
done.
not important.
yeah,
not
right,
important.
exactly. But I was actually DM's manager at the time, where we were.
That's
working.
why I was in a dark place.
Yeah, exactly.
right,
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Can you imagine trying
exactly.
to manage me in a corporate environment?
And it was,
I got you. I got you.
and it was at the end of a week-long vacation that I had taken, and I was like on a crossroads, like where am I going to go with my life? And I saw your guys' show, and I was like, oh yeah, I just got to follow my heart. And
Wow.
you guys
Wow.
did that to me.
That's
and
crazy.
So and I didn't put all the pieces together until I saw you guys. But thank you guys. It really has led to this place right now.
Wow.
I think that without you, this podcast might not exist, or this show might not exist.
It's a
So,
show.
I know. I'm sorry.
Shut up.
That's crazy.
I know.
Wow,
I know.
thank you for
but,
that.
But
That's nuts,
but
man.
thank you guys for
I appreciate hearing
helping
that.
me. Everything that has happened in my life was partly because of you, probably
Wow.
because you helped me just realize that I should be doing what's best for me, and what leads me to my creativity. And
Wow.
that's
That's awesome.
that's what your show did to me. So
That's awesome. I feel like that's definitely the crux of what
Yeah.
we want people to feel when they come to any of our programs. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, I was saging the space and all that before RAS Day because the intention is totally, paramount to make sure that people unlock the things that they're
Yeah.
trying to do, or they're having a good time, or they're knocking boots after the show, or they're, you know what I mean? They're releasing some sort of energy.
Yeah,
Like they
right.
gotta be like alive. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. Are you alive? Like
Yeah.
you can go through the mechanics of your day to day and shit. Like, but are you alive? Does that matter if you're not alive? You're not feeling it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
and I got to tell you, man, when we came off off that stage, man, Wyclef Jean was alive. He was
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's
yo, he was like, yo, your energy is
Yeah, I
crazy.
forgot he
He
was
was
there.
so
That's
hype off of
right.
our show. I was like, I didn't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, we got to hang out with like Prince's whole
I
band.
know. I know.
It was nuts, man.
I
it
believe
was
it. I believe
nuts.
it. I forgot Wyclef was there.
That
Wyclef's
experience.
from my hometown.
What?
Or at least that's where he
Jersey?
met. Yeah,
Where-
that's
yeah.
where he met. Lauryn Hill.
Is he from
and-
Newark? No.
I think he may have grown up in Newark, but I'm from Maplewood.
Maplewood, okay.
and Columbia High School. and
Okay,
that's
okay.
where Lauren was, and
Yeah.
all those guys. And I think who's SZA's from there now. Graduated with my brother actually.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Okay,
Yeah,
some
That's real
talent
cool.
out
The
there.
world's tiniest world.
Maplewood.
I know Maplewood,
Look
New
at
Jersey,
you.
South
Let's
Orange.
go,
That's
let's
it.
go.
Yeah, that's right, Liberty Hill.
That's what's up.
Well,
Shout
guys,
out.
you have certainly it has been a privilege to have you here.
Man, crazy.
But first and foremost, people, when we're going to have every single, and we do this in our YouTube videos, we put every single mention, every single thing. He's got a dope as hell. I'm getting ready to buy him. I opened myself up to comments a couple of Sundays ago, and one of the questions was, how many Biggie T-shirts do you have?
Oh,
That was one of the
wow.
questions.
Wow.
And I just found two more that I need to get because they're on his. One's a Biggie Tupac and one's a Biggie.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
he's about to add to my collection.
There
Yeah,
we go.
man.
There we go.
There we go. Thank
Yeah,
you guys
too
so
many.
much.
Hey, thank you, bro. Appreciate
and
it.
love.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank
Across
you,
the
guys.
table.
Loud AF, folks.
That's right.
So much good in Austin. Stay with it.
Peace and blessings.
Cause you won't tame us. This is how we hold in Austin. We will never change up.